Prince William takes control. Queen's private fortune transferred, Camilla's inner circle left out in the cold. In the final weeks of February 2026, a set of sealed documents moved silently from the office of the Keeper of the Privy Purse to Clarence House and then directly into Prince William's hands. Those documents contained the completed transfer of Queen Elizabeth I's entire private fortune and estate, long estimated by Forbes and royal financial analysts at between £350 million and £500 million when including art, jewels, racehorses, investments, and the most closely guarded private properties. The transfer was not unexpected in law, but the speed, the secrecy, and the deliberate exclusion of any meaningful share for Queen Camilla's inner circle has sent tremors through the royal family. For the first time in modern history, the late Queen's personal wealth has been consolidated almost entirely under the direct control of the future king, bypassing traditional soft expectations that a new consort's extended family might continue to benefit indirectly. To understand how explosive this moment truly is, we must look at the hidden mechanics of how royal private money actually moves, details that rarely reach the public. When Queen Elizabeth II died on September 8, 2022 at Balmoral, two parallel systems activated. The Crown's official assets, the Crown Estate, the duchies, and the palaces held in right of the Crown passed automatically to King Charles III. But the Queen's truly private fortune operated under different rules. These assets had been accumulated personally across her 70-year reign and earlier inheritance from her father, George VI. They included the Sandringham and Balmoral estates, valued together at well over £150 million in land and buildings alone, plus valuable art and furniture collections, a vast private jewelry collection, some pieces inherited, others purchased or received as personal gifts, racehorses and bloodstock interests managed through the royal studs at Sandringham, substantial investment portfolios held through private trusts and offshore structures shielded from public scrutiny, rare manuscripts, paintings by old masters, and personal correspondence archives. Because of a 1993 private agreement between the Queen and the government, these personal assets are exempt from inheritance tax when passing from monarch to monarch. This sovereign-to-sovereign exemption, renewed quietly under Charles, meant the full fortune could transfer tax-free. What very few people outside the innermost circle knew was that Queen Elizabeth II had spent her final years meticulously updating her private will and trust deeds. Multiple senior courtiers have confirmed that she was determined the bulk of her personal wealth would remain within the direct line of succession rather than being diluted across the wider family. She had watched the complications caused by previous generations and wanted to protect the institution's financial core. Charles initially received the entire private estate in 2022. For the first 3 years of his reign, he retained personal control and made certain quiet provisions, including continued access and occasional financial support for Camilla's closest family members. Annabel Elliott continued her long-running interior design work. Other Parker Bowles relatives retained favorable access to Sandringham cottages and occasional use of Highgrove facilities. These arrangements were never publicly declared because they sat inside the monarch's private estate management. That changed in early 2026. Prince William, now exercising substantial delegated authority due to Charles's ongoing cancer treatment, commissioned a full forensic audit of every private trust, lease, and financial arrangement created since 2005. The audit, completed in strict confidence, revealed what William reportedly described as legacy overhangs, arrangements that no longer aligned with a modern, streamlined monarchy. The result was swift and clinical. William has now assumed effective control over the majority of the late Queen's private fortune through a combination of new trust deeds and formal powers of attorney granted by Charles. Sandringham and Balmoral remain in Charles's name for his lifetime, but William has been given irrevocable decision-making rights over their long-term management, future development, and any disposal of assets. The private jewelry collection, including many pieces once worn by the late Queen and previously loaned to both Kate and Camilla, has been placed into a new trust that names William as the primary beneficiary after Charles. Even the bloodstock and investment portfolios have been restructured so that ultimate control flows toward the Prince of Wales. The impact on Camilla's inner circle has been immediate and brutal. Annabel Elliott's duchy consultancy contract, already under pressure, has now been formally terminated with no renewal path. Several smaller but lucrative perks, including favorable long leases on Sandringham-linked properties and access to private royal stud facilities for family members, have been cancelled or converted to full commercial rates. At least 2 Parker Bowles family associates who enjoyed indirect financial benefits through Charles's personal generosity have been quietly informed that those arrangements will end within the current tax year. Palace insiders describe Camilla as deeply wounded by the speed of the changes. She is said to have argued privately that some continuity and loyalty should be shown to the family that supported Charles during the difficult years before their marriage. William's reported reply was uncompromising. The monarchy must be seen to operate on merit and transparency, not on extended family patronage, with the institution already facing public scrutiny. Over costs, Andrew's scandals, and Harry's distance, William believes there is no room for any perception of favoritism. This move also reveals a deeper strategic truth that very few royal observers have fully grasped. By consolidating the late Queen's private fortune under his effective control now, William is preparing for the moment. He becomes king with financial independence and operational power already in place. He will not need to negotiate or seek approval for major estate decisions. The hidden fortune that many assumed would be divided more broadly has instead been locked down tightly within the direct line William, then George. For Camilla, the future is now clearly defined. As queen consort, she retains her current status, residences, and official role. Should she outlive Charles, she will become Queen Dowager with appropriate financial provision and likely continued use of Clarence House and parts of Highgrove. But the great private estates Sandringham, Balmoral, and the core of the late Queen's personal wealth will pass to William. She will be a respected guest in what will become his domain, not a co-owner. The message from William is unmistakable and coldly efficient. The era of soft privileges for anyone outside the direct working line is over. Loyalty to the institution will be rewarded. Personal connections alone will no longer guarantee access to the Queen's private fortune. In one quiet transfer of documents, Prince William has not only taken control of his grandmother's legacy, he has redrawn the boundaries of royal wealth for the next generation. What do you think? Is William right to consolidate the Queen's private fortune so tightly and cut off Camilla's family from long-standing perks, or has he moved too aggressively and risked unnecessary division within the family at a vulnerable time? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this detailed look at the hidden mechanics of royal wealth and the power shift happening right now surprised you, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Next, we're revealing the exact value and contents of the late Queen's private fortune that William now effectively controls. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.